Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome you to the Advanced Technology Institute Winter 2016 commencement exercises. Our graduates are waiting in the back. They're excited to be here today, as I know you're excited to recognize their accomplishments. So without any further ado, we'll have our procession of graduates. And I'll ask you to remain standing for our national anthem. We'll ask our graduates to remain standing. You may be seated. And I think you'll agree with me, they're a handsome-looking group. We certainly want to give them a rousing applause on their well accomplishments. We want to give our graduates an opportunity because I believe that they know that they wouldn't be here today graduating without the support of their families, friends, relatives, and giving them a place to stay and food and money and all that stuff that they need. So let's give your relatives a nice hand. Oh, come on. That's a little better. And now, as our custom is, you guys are the only ones that know what it takes to graduate, to get through all of this year and a half of schooling, 2 years for some of you. So we invite you to turn to your neighbor and give them a good hearty handshake and a way to go. You may be seated. I'd like to introduce our campus president, Mr. Dick Daigle.
Well, good afternoon and welcome. And I'm glad all you guys made it in on time. Today, we have a special guest speaker, Joe Flanagan, who is a well-known morning TV anchor in Hampton Roads for 13 News at Daybreak. He's also the special features reporter for the Joe's Job series. And for those of you who are familiar with this program, you saw a Joe's Job segment on ATI this past Wednesday, and if you missed it, it'll be on TV tomorrow morning. Joe has been in the broadcast business for over 40 years, beginning in West Virginia, then to Atlanta, Georgia, and finally on to Hampton Roads. During this time, he's won many awards, which include 3 regional Emmy Awards, as well as an Associated Press Merit Award for the Joe's Job series in 2012. Joe has also been the special producer and host of Navy Christmas, WVEC's tribute to the Armed Forces in Hampton Roads for 29 years. This past January, Joe marked 32 years at WVEC, and he received his Bachelor's of Science degree in radio and TV broadcasting at Ohio University in Athens, Ohio. So without further delay, here is Joe Flanagan.
Thank you, Dick. I learned real quick to keep this quick. The old KISS method, keep it simple, and I plan to do that, so we won't be here long. I was also excited to learn we're streaming this, and I believe the streaming camera right over there. We can say, hello, world. Nice to have you with us here today. You know, in television, it's all about ratings, and we just finished a big, important rating period in February. And I always wonder, they say, who's number 1, who's number 2, who's number 3? And depending on that, the sales departments can go out and sell commercials for either bigger bucks or lesser bucks, depending on where they are in the ratings. So whenever I go out like this, I always like to take my own survey and find out who's really watching the news on what channel. So bear with me for 1 second and just raise your hand if you consider yourself a regular watcher of the news on WTKR TV3. 1, 2, 3. Great. I'll take these results back to my boss and let him know how we're doing. All right, if you consider yourself a regular watcher of the news on Wavy TV 10, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Magic, okay. And last but not least, if you consider yourself a regular watcher of the news on WVEC 13 News Now, please raise your hand. Okay, great. Oh, super. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Great, keep it up, keep them up. 1, 2, 3. 55, 56, 57, and 84. Great, thank you. Funny how that works. Every time we seem to come out on top. So while we're in this little survey mode, how about allowing me to do a survey of our graduates? If you are an HVAC grad, let's see a show of hands. Who are our HVAC graduates and their families? Raise your hand. Let's see who's okay. Very good. Nice to have you here. If you are diesel or a driver, raise your hand. Any reps? Okay, and your families are here. Very good. How about automotive? Let's see a show of hands for automotive, and their families are all over the place. Great. Glad to have you here. And welding. Who are our welders? All right, in the back row there, and their families represented. Fantastic. That was what we focused on with the Joe's Job. And every time we do one of these Joe's Job, at the end we always say, well, how would Joe Flanagan do in this field? And so Dick Daigle was the one that answered that question at the very end. And he said, well, Joe Flanagan would be fine as a instructor with us, welding instructor, just as soon as he learns how to weld. Thank you, Dick. But I see some of the instructors who helped me out. Ed Miller, right there in automotive. You folks know Ed Miller. 50 years in automotive, unbelievable. And Andy Wysack, met him in the Asian engine area. And wow, what a whiz mechanic and a teacher, instructor, Andy is. Also Stan Wise, I met Stan, and he was in our story. Paul Alanese, is he here? Is that how you say his last name? Paul's here? Great. Hey, Paul, how are you? Good to see you. Of course, Josh Beddingfield had to put up with my antics in the welding department. Josh, thank you for all you did. George Kramer, our welder extraordinaire. Is George here? Opened up his blacksmith shop up in Gloucester. Did a fantastic job with that. And I'm going to hold up the piece in the morning. Oh, you won't be up in the morning. Never mind. And David Philpott, the video producer extraordinaire. David, great job. So if I didn't pass so well as a welder, I thought I could at least look the part while I talk to you here for 2 seconds. So I got my glasses. And if I dump this coat, I've got my shirt that says instructor. So I'm a bona fide ATI welding instructor. Yeah. Billy Crystal years ago on Saturday Night Live, better to look good than feel good. So I'm looking good anyway. This is a big deal being here. And I really wanted to make an effort to get here because graduations are a big deal. And I love big deals. And it's a feel-good story. And I love feel-good stories. For 42 years, I have produced and pitched feel-good stories in local TV newsrooms. And many, many times it's like a fish swimming upstream. If you watch the local news, the feel-good stuff is far and few between. But you guys should be so proud of what you have accomplished. It's all about, in my mind, it's all about the plan. My wife and I always worried about our kids. Will they have a plan to do something with their lives? And they did, and it worked out. My oldest daughter in Augusta, Georgia, in marketing at an arena. My son in video productions in Los Angeles, and youngest daughter going to graduate from Virginia Tech and come back to the beach and teach. But if you don't have a plan, you're lost. And I'm sure you have seen contemporaries of yours that just didn't quite have a game plan, and their lives are not going so well. So it is a big deal, the fact that A, you came up with a plan, B, you did your research, and C, you acted on it and attended ATI that has set you on a path for the future, both career-wise and for your lives. I did a little bit of research, and I contacted Rebecca Krininger, as a 2012 graduate from ATI, and she's at Pep Boys over in Hampton. And she told me everything she learned in school, she has applied on her job. She started out as a basic automotive technician over there at Pep Boys, and over the 5 years has worked her way up to now a retail manager. And she got the associate's degree so she could go into the business side of operations. And she's got a tremendous future. 2 children, married, life is good. And she told me to pass along congratulations, and that you will recognize once you start your jobs how well you're going to be able to apply what you've learned into your careers. So good on you for all that. I only hope that you have a passion and love for what you're going to do in your life as I have had for mine. My career is long in the tooth. Yours is just starting. But I couldn't wait to go to work every day. Still feel that way. When we came here and started the Joe's Job series, butchers, bakers, candlestick makers, you name it, we tried it. Not quite micro doing dirty jobs, but we just tried to profile locals in what their jobs were. But I have to say it was a bit of a challenge trying to take on that welding job, and I'd much rather be an instructor than a welder. So let me leave you with this. Perhaps the shortest commencement speech of all time that I ever heard of was the great Winston Churchill, Prime Minister in England. Word is he got up one time at a commencement and simply said, never, 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 34 times, and said, give up. And he sat down. But wow, when you think about it, how simple, how powerful. How many times will that come up in your life? Sitting there, you may not realize it. Some of we elders know it comes up all the time. And I challenge you to never give up. So far, that's the way you performed. You're on the right track. Your futures are bright. And I will totally close with my first letter, a piece of fan mail. It's in my coat. I always like to end reading the very first piece of fan mail I ever received. Thank you. My first job in Parkersburg, West Virginia. goes something like this. Dear Joe, congratulations on your new job. You are doing fantastic. If I were the big boys at the networks in New York City, I would have my eye on you. Is that awesome? First piece of fan mail, and as you can see, it's signed Love Mother. Thank you. Congratulations. Next.
We talk about school attendance a lot at ATI. Try to stress upon our students how important it is to have good attendance, and we like to recognize those guys. We have a student today who graduated from our associate's degree in heavy vehicle technology and service management. Never missed a minute in that whole 15, 16 months worth of school. And that gentleman is Mr. Ferrick Smith. Is Mr. Smith here with us today? Ferrick? Stand up, Ferrick. Way to go. Not surprisingly, Mr. Smith, I didn't get his permission, but I'll tell you, had a GPA of 3.87, so pretty good. Nice job. As our graduates walk across the stage today, you'll notice they wear different color cords. The blue cord are for perfect attendance for the entire program, Mr. Smith. Our gold cords are those graduates who are graduating with honors. They have to have a 3.7 or better to be an honor graduate. And those students with the blue stoles are our students who are graduating the associate degree programs. If I could have Julie Gartman? Not yet? Oh, I'm sorry. We have one more point of emphasis from Mr. Daigle.
As you know, Hampton Roads is home to more than half of the 800,000 veterans in the state of Virginia and almost 100,000 active duty personnel, making us one of the largest, if not the largest, military communities in the country. Because of the large number of veterans in this area, ATI's student veteran population is just over 200 veterans. ATI is proud to be able to assist these veterans in making the transition from the military to the civilian community. As Mr. Clayton said, in an effort to recognize our veteran graduates, they are wearing red, white, and blue cords. And before we proceed with our ceremony, I would like all of the veteran graduates to please stand. Let's give them a hand. Thank you. We thank you for your service. You may be seated. And we also thank all of the other veterans who may be out there in the audience for their service. So thank you. And now we'll turn it back over to Mr. Clayton, or whoever he is.
I'm slightly disorganized here. As you know, today's graduation ceremony is about the finishers, about the students who showed up every day, who started almost a year or 2 years ago and finished. But I would like to use this opportunity to say my thank you to people you spend the most time with. They are the instructors. Instructors and program coordinators, would you please stand up? I believe it is fine. Instructors and faculty, they deserve a round of applause. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you very much.
Now we are ready for Ms. Gartman. My apologies.
Let's have one more big round of applause for our graduates. We will begin by calling our Automotive Technology graduates. Would you all please rise? So graduating from our Automotive Technology programs, Joshua Lee Barnes. David Bright. Andrew Dennis Gazy. Zachary Casper. Kyle Union. Stephanie Lively. Patrick Keller. Jordan Walker Bray. Robert Mattingly. Matthew John Pompey. Peyton Dean Parker. Colton Fisher. Caleb Michael Parks. Mayorga. Inmar Mayorga. Daniel Hartless. Tristan Travis Cook. Justin G. Wallace. Derek Martin. Delton Clemens. While our automotive graduates are heading back to their seats, let's have one more round of applause for them. Next, would our heavy vehicle technology graduates please stand? Farrick S. Smith. Nicholas A. Bosley. Shane Robert Hatton. Ken Proper. Cody Bodine. John Giles. Demetric Woods. Austin Malcolmus. As they make their way to their seats, let's give them one more round of applause. Okay. Up next, we have our air conditioning and heating technology graduates. Would you please rise? Charles M. Hockaday, Jr. Taniqua Renee Cushman. Seth Noggle. Congratulations. Oh, good job. And Avion Etheridge. So let's hear it for our HVAC graduates. Congratulations. Okay. Alrighty, if we could please have our Maritime Welding Technology graduates please rise. Samuel Glenn Foranash. Congratulations. Julian A. Mira Lopez. And Charles C. Corus III. So one last opportunity to congratulate all of our graduates, including our Maritime Welding graduates. Thank you. So I'm going to turn this back over to our campus president, Mr. Dick Daigle.
Graduate candidates, please rise. That's you guys, you got to stand up. Commencement signifies the transition from education to the workplace. Each of you graduates has demonstrated a specific level of competence in your chosen field of study. This level of competence is appropriately documented by the presentation of a diploma or a degree. To mark the time, honor, and significance of commencement, will each graduate please move their tassel from the left to the right. By the power vested in me by the state of Virginia, I hereby confer upon you an Associate of Occupational Science degree or diploma with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations, you are now official graduates of the Advanced Technology Institute. Okay, you may be seated.
Well, congratulations to all of our graduates. We certainly appreciate all the family and friends joining us today to celebrate their terrific accomplishments. This concludes our ceremonies. If anyone would like to come up to the stage and have their picture taken, or if anyone would like to have a picture taken with instructors or staff here, you're welcome to do that at this time. Congratulations.